Aloha, guys. So we got CNN talking about Elon Musk's influence in Trump's administration and among his allies. So I got a couple videos out talking about how the rich have their own line on the graph the rich have their own line on that graph about what they want and what they can get, and we have 30% of what we want gets done whether we want it or not. And so they're going to basically be talking about that, but more focused on Elon Musk and his.
It's so interesting to see this happen because, in a way, all of the sort of backroom strategy is just being said out loud. Trump says he wants the debt limit increased under Biden, as if we don't know that Republicans control the House and that he is asking for that very thing. And they also want a clean bill. There's no such thing on the table right now. And Speaker Johnson just doesn't have the votes.
Absolutely. Look, this is government by tantrum. This is what the American people voted for, and they're just getting it early. And I think actually it's quite interesting because it's not only about continuing the existing funding levels. There's also some other stuff in there that Republicans should be very much in favor of, including funding for hurricane victims. Do you remember Republicans, including Trump, made a big deal about how FEMA was allegedly abandoning all of these natural disaster victims? There is funding for them that they are now leaving on the cutting room floor. So I don't even understand the strategy here. Why would you want to come into office with a shut down government? Usually a new administration wants some breathing room.
Very perplexing. It's very perplexing. Let me
Trump likes to do things differently.
He is at this point not negotiating with Democrats or with Trump. He's negotiating with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Listen.
I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either.
Elon Musk has outsized influence on way too many things.
I mean, he's got a tough job, but I mean, Elon and Vivek are not in the government. They're not even going to be in the government. This is so, I mean, it's incredible, actually.
Yeah. So the margin that the speaker just referred to in that clip is actually a more significant margin than you will see for most of the next term in Congress, where Democrats have picked up seats, in fact. And so you're going to see
And Trump has raided the House Republican conference for his administration. That is also a problem.
That's true. And he'll exert more influence than has historically been the case for the past couple of years through his presidency. And perhaps I should say President Elon Musk will be exerting more influence over the House Republican conference than any president.
But it's not really just Elon Musk. Like Donald Trump said a long time ago, he had been donating to everybody on the Republican stage and most of the people on the Democratic stage. He, like Hillary Clinton, owed him favors. They got all them pictures of them together and stuff. All these rich people, like even Jeffrey Epstein, they get to talk to each other and make decisions with each other while they leave us out. So, I mean, it's not just Elon Musk. It's these rich CEOs and out just... If you're a multi-millionaire, you have just outsized influence on what our nation does.
In the White House would. Look, this is, to the point just made, exactly what people voted for, even unwittingly. I mean, I think they expected government, people in office to be able to keep the lights on, but this is foreshadowing what is to come, and it's only going to become more chaotic when Republicans have unified control of the federal government.
I think that, this is what Americans wanted. They wanted a disruptor. And obviously his decision to bring in Ramaswamy and to bring in Elon Musk was to have a buffer zone there and people that would look at the waste, look at the problems, look at what's missing. There's no question that this is a pork-filled bill. And many of the things have to be taken out of it.
And see, that's one of the things we need to do too, is get the pork out of bills. Pork is when they just add extra stuff into bills that's not related to it. So if you have a border bill and then they put funding for Ukraine or something in it, that has nothing to do with the border, but they just want more funding or something, that's pork, right? So we need to do more single issue voting. Just vote on one issue at a time.
And there's no reason that they can't have a continuing resolution that will take them up until Donald Trump becomes president, and then He calls the shots, and
Right.
he brings in the
But
people that help to call
But the
those
problem
shots.
is that Donald Trump
But
has
the-
now
but the-
put on the table, don't do anything with any bill if you don't raise the debt limit. That's insane. It takes months to negotiate a debt limit. So
It
I
does.
actually don't think that the majority of the people voted wittingly for this. The people voted for somebody, a group of people, a group of leaders to govern. And what Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Ramaswamy and Speaker Johnson are now proving is that they absolutely have no ability to govern, and perhaps worse than that, not even an interest in government.
Wait,
Would
hold
you
on.
rather
just
have a
wanna blow
bad
everything
bill? Would you
up.
rather have a bad bill?
I would
What's
rather
bad
have
about this
the
bill?
bipartisan bill that they
First of all,
negotiated
a
between the
raise
parties.
for Congress and the
on,
Senate.
Let me let Arthur, and then we'll talk about
Yeah.
that raise. Go ahead.
I just look at people, who they are, who their background, what their record is, and there's no doubt that Elon Musk has an enormous amount of input in this pre-administration. That's without
clear,
saying.
right?
That's clear. He also has a pretty darn good track record of running companies. I mean, he took people to space. That's not just like running Ford Motor Company or Tesla. He took people to space.
He has a long history of not doing what he says he's going to do too, like the Hyperloop, and there's a bunch of videos out there talking about Elon Musk's broken promises and this and that. I might try to find one for the end.
His stock is through the roof. He obviously has the credibility of many Americans who own that Tesla stock in their portfolio and watching it go through the roof. So it's not like Donald Trump is asking a guy who has failed after failure, after bankruptcy. He's asking a pretty smart
that's
dude
him. That's
to help
Donald
him out.
Trump.
Elon Musk bought Twitter and basically set $44 billion on fire. That's the first thing.
Okay,
The
but
fact-
he's got it to burn. So you got to give him credit for that.
And to his credit, he says that he did it for free speech, right? He didn't worry about the money. He just wanted to open up the platform to free speech.
Okay, but he ran it into the ground. But
Let me
beyond that, Tesla stock is going up because Americans believe that Elon Musk has Donald Trump's ear and will
He does.
and
Before that.
will shape policy in such a way that will enrich Tesla.
70%
Oh, yeah.
of electric cars are Tesla.
And do you know-
70%
Can
of
I
electric
give
cars
you
are
another example? So
And I think he means in the U.S., 70% of the electric cars are Tesla, because from what I've seen around the world, China leads in electric vehicles. So
earlier today, he tweeted about something that someone else tweeted was in the bill, but it turned out it wasn't in the bill.
Yes.
No federal money was going toward a DC sports stadium,
Right.
even though Elon thought it was. So there are some basic things about even how to read a spending bill and understand
well,
how to handle
also,
it. I think is
I repeat, absolutely no interest in actually understanding how the government works. You know what's so ironic about what you said? How many billions of dollars did Elon get from the government in order to start those companies? And now
Right.
he wants to blow it up.
So you're
That is
contradicting
like
yourself, though.
the
Because you're
most
saying he
hypocritical
knows
thing
how
in
the
world.
government works. You just said he
Oh,
doesn't know how
no.
the government
No,
works.
no.
So he knows how to get the money,
He
so he knows how to
it's
federal
not how federal
It's not
contracts work, that's for
it's not
sure.
just about understanding
That's
how the
not
government
government.
works, as important as that is. It's also about being an effective manager, and I think it's a myth, and we just saw that because why would you just announce on Twitter that you oppose this legislation to keep the government open 72 or so hours before a deadline to shut down the government? I mean, if he was serious about cutting pork and doing all this other stuff that Republican conservatives are talking about, then they would have been very much involved in this text thread that Speaker Johnson was saying.
Right.
Like
Well,
throughout that
also,
entire
I
I
process.
think they were afraid of
Shutdowns are
shutting down the
expensive.
government anyway. I mean, remember, it was in Trump's last administration that they did exactly
and
that.
they paid a political
Yes,
price.
yes,
oh, that's
exactly
exactly
what I was
an
gonna
economic
say.
price.
Shutting down the
That's what
government
I was
is
gonna
not
say.
popular, and Americans are not stupid.
They
They
do
know
not
who to
want
blame.
that.
Well,
Absolutely.
also,
okay, so rich people have an outsized influence in our government. Some people would call that fascism, but that's been how it is since we started. So I'll show a couple things here. So the Hyperloop is one of them.
Elon Musk's Hyperloop dream has ended. Hyperloop One, the high-speed transportation startup, is shutting down due to financial challenges and layoffs, marking the end of its ambitious vision for futuristic tube travel. Founded in 2014, Hyperloop One raised $450 million, but faced operational setbacks. It initially focused on passenger travel with a rebrand as Virgin Hyperloop One, but later shifted to cargo transport. Internal disputes, legal battles, and missed deadlines contributed to its downfall. Like and follow us for more daily headlines.
Okay, and then his talk of when the cars are going to be autonomous and whatnot.
That's the call to Congress.
8 years Elon Musk has been saying he would deliver a self-driving car in a year or so. He still isn't close.
A Tesla car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. So 90% of your miles could be on auto. We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads. The Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. We're still on track for being able to go cross-country from LA to New York by the end of the year, fully autonomous.
But next year, for sure, we will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
When do you think Tesla will solve level 4 FSD?
I mean, it's looking quite likely that it will be next year.
How can anyone trust what Elon Musk says about self-driving cars?
So again, this is the guy helping to run our government. Just because he has billions of dollars, he has outsized influence. And just to touch on it one more time.
You literally told them to make the Starship more pointy because of the movie The Dictator.
Yep.
It is too round on the top. It needs to be pointy. Round is not scary. Pointy is scary. This will put a smile on the faces of the enemy.
Is it better to be pointier? Or like if it wasn't for the movie?
It's arguably slightly worse.
You literally...
And so it's arguably slightly worse. And he made this decision to make it pointier and make it more dangerous for his people to go in space after the guy on CNN just bragged about how Elon Musk took people to space. He made it more dangerous for them. And for the electric vehicles, I looked this up here. So BYD, a Chinese company, is the world's largest producer of electric vehicles. 2022, BYD produced 1.86 million EVs, making it the world's largest producer. In 2023, BYD manufactured 3 million EVs, electric vehicles, solidifying its position as the largest EV company. EV production, BYD increased EV production by 200% in 2022. BYD stopped producing internal combustion engine ICE vehicles in 2022 to focus solely on EVs, the battery technology. Chinese companies have been a leader in developing lithium iron phosphate batteries, LFP, which are more affordable and commercially viable than lithium nickel magnesium cobalt NMC batteries used in the West. So they use better batteries also. Tesla in 2023 built 1.8 million EVs, the most by a U.S. company, so I guess that is what he meant. They make the most for a U.S. company. So China is about double that at 3 million in 2003. And then Volkswagen in 2022 did 839,200 plug-in vehicles. This chart over here shows the nation's buying. The nation's buying EVs. So Norway, almost half their vehicles bought in, 2018? 49% of their vehicles, huge. And then Iceland is second at 19%. Sweden third at 8%. So it goes down from there. The most bought overall is China, but they have so many people, right? They got 1 million EVs bought in 2018, but they have so many people that it's a small percent. So anyway, he just said that Tesla was the biggest electric vehicle maker, and I was thinking the world, but he was talking about America, I guess, the U.S. So I just wanted to look that up and go over that real quick with you guys. But that's got it for there. So like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you guys thought. And until next time.